you. So my name is Julie, and I am a patient, and I could listen to Dr. Wander over and over and over again, and the reason is he understood, and I was pretty much not sick my whole life, and then about 5 years ago I moved to New York, and I got there, and all of a sudden I started getting all these symptoms. I had gained 20 pounds, I was incredibly tired, and my legs were swollen and my face was puffy, and I would look in the mirror and I was like, what is going on? And then I would ask my friends, and they're like, no, you're fine. And I would take the train home and I would be exhausted, like I could not. I was in bed at 8 o'clock at night, and then I started drinking sugar-free Red Bull, and then I was up to like 32 ounces of sugar-free Red Bull. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life, but I had more caffeine. And I was dependent on caffeine. I was miserable, I was tired. I had hot flashes, like my entire body was on fire. I did not know what was happening to me. I did not recognize myself. My face was puffy, I was swollen. My voice was hoarse all the time, and I had this, the kicker, I was losing my hair. Now I'm in the beauty industry, so you can imagine there's a little bit of vanity that's involved in that. So I'm running around New York City thinking that I have this job, I've got this puffy face, I'm losing my hair, I'm swollen, and I'm tired all the time, and now I'm addicted to Red Bull. So not really great for one's career aspirations. So I go to my doctor, and I was like, I've got it figured out, because I Googled this, and so I'm like, early menopause, and she's like, I think you might have a thyroid issue, and I was like, thyroid? No. So they did the test, and it's like, you have a thyroid issue. So I'm like, okay, good. No time to waste at the regular doctor. I'm like dialing up endocrinologist. So I go to my endocrinologist, and what happens? I get put on levothyroxine. I can't even say it. So I go back in 3 months, and they up my dosage, and I go back in 3 months. And I'm still losing my hair. Now I'm at the dermatologist, and I'm like, what am I going to do about my hair? And I haven't lost any weight. Nothing has changed, and I'm still drinking Red Bull. And she said, you probably shouldn't do that. Well, I need to actually show up for my job. So then I Google a little bit more, and I say, you know what? I'm reading about all these other things that I could be doing. Is there something? Should I go gluten-free? Gluten-free seems like a big thing out there on the internet. And she's like, here's what we do at this office. We are going to test your blood every 3 months, and we'll change your dosage if we need to. And I was like, but what about the other things? And she's like, we don't do that here. And I said, well, is there another doctor? And she said, no, this practice will test your blood every 3 months, and we'll change your dosage if we need to. And by this time, I was miserable, I was unhappy, and I really couldn't think that I could maintain my job. So I moved back home here to DC. And luckily with the same company, but a smaller territory. And I was like, I have to get some quality of life and take stress out of my life, because stress was a huge factor, as you can imagine, in New York. And I Googled, and I found Dr. Wander. And I felt so relieved to hear a doctor actually say all these things and know all of these symptoms, because everybody else thought I was crazy because I didn't look sick to them. So nobody believed me, nobody understood, nobody, even my own family was like, you don't look sick, you're not losing your hair, and you probably needed to gain a little bit of weight. So I met Dr. Wander in December, and I begged him. I was like, please take my case. I was like, I don't have time to go to that dinner. I was like, please. And so he did. And I'm telling you, it has been literally life-changing. Now, in hindsight, why I decided to do the whole cleanse and the detox 2 weeks before Christmas, I don't know. But I do know, because I was desperate. I wanted to get better. This is definitely, when he says the fork in the road, this is so definitely, you have to want it, because it's a commitment. To give up sugar, alcohol, caffeine, bread, dairy, I don't want to scare y'all, but 2 weeks before Christmas was a little bit, but it wasn't a challenge. I have to say, the one thing I was afraid of, I was afraid that sugar was going to be my hard thing, because I was like, I love sugar. And honestly, for me, the harder part was caffeine, and I am going to share this story. So I went through the whole cleanse, and I had all this energy, and I lost actually a good amount of weight. And I was starting to feel better, and I'm counting the baby hairs, and everything's going good. So what do? I go and I eat ice cream. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go into the office, I couldn't sleep all week. I was like, he's gonna kick me out of the whole study and everything. And I was like, Dr. Wander, I was like, I ate ice cream. And he's like, how did you feel? I'm like, so guilty, I'll never do it again. I'm so sorry. He's like, no, Julie, how did you feel physically? And I was like, oh, it was awful. And I was so happy. And that was the biggest change. Just making changes in food and the supplements and really detoxing and it's fascinating to go through the whole blood work process and learn all these different, all that stuff. I can't say it, but you know what it is. It literally is life-changing, because first of all, the most important thing that I got from that office, and this is where I get super emotional, is hope. Because there's nothing worse than knowing that you're not yourself, knowing that something's different, and having a doctor look you right. I mean, a doctor tell you, we can't do anything else for that. And it was just so frustrating, and then nobody knows about it, nobody talks about it, and the thyroid thing. Oh, and this was the kicker with my doctor, like on my second to last visit, because I asked her to run all these other tests. My sister, of course, works for a doctor, which is almost worse than Googling WebMD. So I walk in with, can we do all these tests? So she did them, and as I was leaving her office that day, she said, oh, by the way, you have Hashimoto's. By the way, I have an autoimmune? So that's why when I came here and I saw that, I begged him, because I was like, I have this autoimmune. It has been such a journey. It has been, it's been amazing. As I say, I count my baby hairs, they're growing back. I'm so excited about that. The energy level, I used to think I had a delicate constitution. That's how my mother would say it. You know, you just don't digest food well, Julie. No, I do now. I can eat anything. I was a vegetarian, and now I eat meat, and I eat proteins, and I eat things, and I feel great. My stomach doesn't get upset at all. The other thing for me, it was a little bit of a challenge because I didn't really know my way around the kitchen, but I've learned. So the adventures and the benefits that have come out of this have been life-changing, life-affirming. The best thing is to have hope, is to want to get up in the morning, and it is to know that somebody recognizes that. He talks about it all day long. And he's never late for an appointment. There's people in his office, I don't know how he can keep talking about these things, but I'm so glad that he does, because it is I think it's been 5 months. And the changes have been incredible, like absolutely amazing. I cannot get over the foods that I can eat, the energy level that has come back. Just some things have just been the smallest little change, and it's made the biggest difference. And it's just amazing, but it's a commitment, and you have to want it. But I think anybody that's at the dinner, you've probably gotten to that point where I was at, and it's so frustrating, and it's scary, and it's just weird, and then people just, you don't look sick. Nobody here looks sick. No one looks like they've got something, but it changes your life, and it zaps your energy. And I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful to be here, and the staff is so amazing. They are so nice, and you can email questions all the time, although I try not to. So I probably have forgotten like all the things that I really wanted to say, but it really, I will just end with, it was that hope thing. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do, because I knew I couldn't keep drinking Red Bull, and I knew something was wrong with me. You know, you just have that internal thing, and I knew it, and I couldn't believe that a doctor wasn't going to help me. And then I met Dr. Wander, and I know for the rest of my life I'm going to be absolutely okay, and I'll keep changing, I'll keep doing things. So I'm super excited for all of you, because get ready and buckle up. Your life is about to change, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you for letting me come share.